Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Omar bin Ibrahim. My metric ID is TB19030. So for the introduction, okay, as for our project, we decide to choose flame sensor in the project manufacturing computer application. Okay, as we know, fire alert system are quite popular in commercial building and factories. This device typically have a cluster of sensors that continuously monitor for any flame, gas or fire in the building and active an alarm if any of these are detected. Okay, an IR flame sensor which has IR photodiode that is sensitive to IR light is one of the easiest way to detect fire. Okay, now in the event of a fire, fire will not produce only heat but will also emit IR ray. Yes, burning flame will emit some level of IR light. This light is not visible to the naked eyes, but our flame sensor can detect it and alert in a microcontroller such as Arduino that a fire has been detected and displayed in the Visual Studio form. In this project, we learn how to connect a flame sensor to an Arduino and how to build a fire alarm system with an Arduino and a flame sensor. Okay, a photodiode detect light and OPM control sensitivity in flame sensor module. It detect fire and send out a high signal when it detect it. And the Arduino detect the signal and alerts the user by activating the buzzer and LED. The flame sensor in this case is an infrared IR flame sensor.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. My name is Muhammad Fakhri bin Muhammad ZULKIFLI and my metric number is TA19078. And today I would like to present our project about flame sensor. Okay, for my part, I will talk about first is the system description. So we use flame sensor in our project. Okay, so what is exactly a flame sensor? Flame sensor is a sensor designed to detect and respond to the presence of flame or fire. Responses to a detected flame depend on installation, but can include sounding an alarm, deactivating a fuel line, and activating a fire suppression system. For our project, we use flame sensor and buzzer. Okay. This is the description of the flame sensor module. And next is application of flame sensor. So what flame sensors are used for? For example, hydrogen stations, combustion monitors for burners, oil and gas pipelines, automotive manufacturing facilities, nuclear facilities, aircraft hangars, and turbine enclosures. These are the components that we use in our project. We use yellow, red, and green LED, Arduino Uno, servo motor, push button, 220 ohm resistor, 1 kilo ohm resistor, buzzer, and male and female wires. Okay, this is the image of our circuit. This is the flame sensor, and this is the Arduino Uno.
Okay, next I would like to present about the manual. Okay, first step we have built a circuit of flame sensor. Second, we have create a suitable coding for the circuit to program in the Arduino. Okay, the third, export the code to the Arduino and simulate it to obtain the output result. The output result of flame sensor reading is shown on the serial monitor. Next, we have test the flame sensor in a room to detect the flame or fire. Okay, number 5, when the switch is on, the current will flow through LED, which is the green LED will react as indicator that the system is activated. Under normal condition, the output for the flame sensor is high. When the sensor detect any fire, its output become low. Arduino detect this low signal on its input pin and activates the buzzer and LED yellow and red, while the servo motor will turn 90 degree. Meanwhile, we can read the operation through check and output in the form Visual Studio. Also, we can control the LED by using LED button, the dead form. LED button dead form on the circuit. For the safety, when working with the circuit, we must take into account some of the safety aspect in order to protect ourselves and the hardware. And do not touch any terminal on the flame sensor while the power is being provided. Okay, there's a chance you will get an electric shock. This result in an electric shock, a fire, or malfunction. So make sure your wire are properly polarized. Aside from that, we must direct it forward and upward. Pointing it below will cause it to malfunction. Failure to do so may result in an unforeseen operation, which could result in equipment damage or physical injury. Okay, next, for the bill of material (BOM), first we use component buzzer. It's for the audio signaling device. We have used one for the circuit. Next, LED green color. It was 5mm LED, and we use one for the LED green. Okay, next, LED yellow, 5mm LED, and the quantity is 1. Number 4, LED red, 5mm LED, quantity 1. Number 5, Arduino board. We have used Arduino Uno R3 development board. We have used one for this project. And resistor 220 ohm to we using 2. Resistor 1 kilo ohm we using 2 quantity. Number 8, the connecting wire or jumper wire, we have used 20. The 9, breadboard. Number 10, power supply 12 volt battery adapter. 11, motor, we have used servo motor. And the last one is push button, on off button. Okay, next, for the gun check, so for 1 second entry, we have next for gun check, so 1 until 3 we have complete the project selection. Number 2, discussion and division of tasks. OMAR was doing report, Hafiz hardware, IRFAN simulation, FAIQH report. So 4 and 5 we have planning about the discussion and division of tasks, and we have finished it at 7 June. Okay, next for the flowchart and system design, we have planning it from 7 until 19 and complete it at 20 June. Okay, so for project report and presentation, we have done by finishing this task at 22nd and 25 June. So for the submission, we have submit it on 26 June. So that's all from me. Okay, hi and assalamualaikum. My name is Omar bin Ibrahim.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Okay, as you can see here, this is a system design or a schematic diagram for the project. So as you can see here, this is Arduino Uno with the several connection in it. So for the pin number 12, we have 220 ohm resistor connected to LED and to ground. And for the pin number 8, we have a buzzer. For the pin number 7, we have a 220 ohm resistor connected with to LED and to ground. So at the pin digital number 4, it is connected to the flame sensor, which is connected also to the power and to the ground. So for the digital pin number 3, it is connected to a servo motor. And for the pin number 2 pin, so we connected with a 2 kilo ohm resistor connected to the switch and to the 5 volt power source. So for the circuit design, we have in Proteus. So as you can see here, the connection is quite same with the schematic diagram as we design back the schematic diagram into the Proteus. So same as the schematic diagram. So the phone pin 12, we have 220 ohm resistor connected to LED and for the ground. Same as buzzer, which is connected to the number 8 pin of the Arduino, which is then connected to ground. So for the number 7 pin, we have the 1 resistor and 2 LED connected in parallel and then straight to the ground. So next is for the number 3 pin of the Arduino, we have a servo motor which is connected to the power and to the ground. So for the film sensor, we have it connected to number 4 pin of the Arduino to the power and to ground. So for the switch, we have it connected to number 2 pin of the circuit, which is connected to the R3 or 2 kilo ohms resistor and connected also to the power.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Hafiz bin Azizon. My metric number is TB1026. So this is the coding for flame sensor that we built by using Arduino IDE. At the top of this coding, we can see we declare the variable for each component, such as buzzer, servo motor, LED, and flame sensor. After that, the number after the equal symbol at each component is the input that we control the component by Arduino board. Okay, so for void setup, we use serial begin 9600 and pin mode for buzzer, LED, and LED1 as output. Pin mode for flame sensor as input. Digital write LED1 is height, which is the LED, the green LED at pin 2 as input will activate and turn on. This is the indicator for the system that is working. The signal for servo attached at pin 3. Okay, the pin mode output at pin 13. Next, for void loop. When the sensor detect no flame, it will print 0. Then it will read low for LED, buzzer, and supermoto. But when it detect the flame, the LED will hide and buzzer, which is the LED will turn on and buzzer will start making sound. And the servo move about 180 degrees, such as chart and number reading. Okay, so for lastly, the output at pin 13 will be read by form that we make in Visual Studio. This will display at the list box and the chart. For form, make by using Visual Studio, this form will show the output from the Arduino flame sensor. So in this form, we have a list box that will read the number if the sensor detect or not the flame. This is controlled by the read button. Next, close button for close the form, and last LED button to activate or to turn off the LED on the Arduino board. So this is the chart that will display the output of the sensor. Next, this is the coding for the form. As you can see, this is for form. This for button read. Next, this the coding for button close, and this is the button for LED. Then this is the coding for chart that will display the output of flame sensor. So I try to run it. Try to push red button. Okay, so when flame not detect, it will show the 0 at the list board. Okay, so I try to put some flame by using a lighter. So it detect, it will show number 1. So the graph will going up to 1, and then when the flame not detect, the graph will turn down to 0 again. And then when it detect again, I will show to number 1, and when the flame not detect by the sensor, chart graph will turn to the 0 again. So that is for form by using Visual Studio. So this is the simulation of circuit flame sensor. As you can see, we have switch, LED, buzzer, and flame sensor. Also servo motor. So for switch test, when we push the button, the green LED will turn on. So this is show the system is working. Next, when the sensor detect the flame, the yellow and the red LED will light, will turn on, and the buzzer will make a sound. Then to test the function of a LED button in the form, when we click LED button, the LED light on the Arduino board will turn on. So for overall, when it read, The sensor will detect the flame, and the graph will be height. So that's all from the simulation. Thank you.